So today we're going to be working on the bass part for Fire in the Bow by Brian Ballmages, and this is a really fun kind of driving piece. You want to play fairly aggressively, so putting a lot of weight into the bow and not using too much bow. One of the things that's maybe a little bit challenging about this one is it is largely almost all in half position. So you're using a lot of flats. There is a B flat in the key signature, and they also give you plenty of E flats as accidental. So just remember your finger patterns. B flat is in half position, fourth finger on the G string, and first finger in half position on the A string. And then when you have those E flats marked as accidentals, they are first finger in half position on the D string. And remember, they do have to actually be marked for them to be that the E flat. Otherwise, they're E natural, which if you are still in half position would be second finger. One little tricky spot that I wanted to point out to you, actually a couple of little tricky spots, is measure 28 is, that one's is a little bit tricky because you start out in half position and they actually have a wrong fingering there. So measure 28, you're going to go A flat, and then not first finger, but open G. Okay, so A flat is in half position, first finger. And then from there, that D flat, you're probably more used to seeing this note spelled as C sharp. And it is, you go into first position and go 4 and 2. So the fingering for the second half of that measure is accurate. But there is a little shift in between. So you go half position, open, and then right back to half position. You have to be in half position to play that F natural on the E string. So in tempo, that one you probably want to practice on its own a bit to get it up to tempo. The other spot that's a little bit tricky is the rhythm. That you have at measure 41 through 43 and then repeated it again with a different note at 47. So if we count that one out, that one starts with the low G on the E string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then they just repeat that 3 times up to tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just make sure that you're counting carefully for that. It is a bit syncopated. And once you get the groove of that, though, it shouldn't be hard to play. And then just remember the finger patterns. You do have the 1 flat in the key signature, so B flat is good all the time unless they cancel it out with a natural. And that means you're going to have F naturals and C naturals. So maybe some different finger patterns than you've played in most of your music up to this point. It's a really fun piece to play, though, and I encourage you to break it down into smaller chunks, practice it to get it up to tempo. Speaking of the tempo, it is marked 144. However, the Smart Music default tempo is 150. So Smart Music takes it a little faster than it's marked. And I would encourage you to get it up to that tempo. You will notice if you change the tempo in Smart Music, it's going to cause some distortion in the background sound. So it's going to sound better if you take it up to tempo. So maybe practice each section of it a little slower until you have it up to tempo, and then try playing it with Smart Music. sure that you're being careful with your finger patterns and your positions, and it's a really great way to kind of get used to playing in half position and also on the lower strings. Make sure that you're really digging into the bow and that you have enough rosin on the bow to play this one, because it's going to be difficult to get the strings to speak if you don't. Good luck and happy practicing.